Hi, I'm Dana Opelman, creator of the Sleep Sense program, and this week I'd like to talk a little bit about teething. I get a lot of questions and comments on the blog and from parents wondering about teething and how it affects sleep. It really tends to be very child dependent. I have 3 children and they all went through teething in very different ways. But the one thing I always tried to remind myself of was that teething happens. There's no way I can stop it or prevent it, nor would I want to. And and every child has to go through it. So there's no real way you can help or, you know, aid in this process. It just has to happen. So my advice to parents is always try to put teething out of your mind as much as you can. If you really feel, I can remember my daughter, teething seemed to affect her the most. And when I actually saw teeth cutting the gum, I found that those were a couple of days where she was a little more sleepy. She might have been running at just a slight temperature and seemed to need more in the way of sleep for those couple of days. But I've had enough parents tell me all kinds of things that I think just about anything can happen when your child's teething. But I want to give you some words of caution here. You know, a lot of people use teething as an excuse for their child's terrible sleep habits. You know, I get it all the time. In fact, there was one comment today on the blog, and the child was 12 months old, and the mom was convinced that every night in those, in the teething months that the child had been teething. So that can't be true. And really, from all the research I've done, what actually is what causes the discomfort is the cutting of the gums as the teeth come in. So, just because you maybe see some white bumps underneath the gums doesn't necessarily mean that it's causing any discomfort. And it's not an excuse for a terrible sleeper. And so I want you to have a look at a few things around your child's sleep strategies. If they're falling asleep independently and prop free, maybe you're already on the Sleep Sense program, then great, good for you. And what you'll find then is that your child goes through teething much better than a child who doesn't and is very prop dependent. And I find that if there might be a night or two where teething might have been the cause of a bit of a bumpy night, but as long as you hang on tight to your strategies on how you deal with that, the baby goes back to sleeping well, as soon as the pain has subsided. So if you've got a child who, needs you to rock him or needs to be nursed to sleep or bottle fed to sleep, then that is where you should start. And then you'll most likely find that teething subsides and you get through it fairly well. So if you need a little assistance with that, there's a link right on this page and you can get started on the Sleep Sense program tonight. Thanks and sleep well.